Hi, welcome to Moonstone Mountaineer. My name is Gina and I'll be your guide today as we explore one of my favorite places on the whole planet, Yosemite National Park. Today we'll be discussing everything and anything that there is to do in the park outside of hiking. If you guys didn't know already, I do have a store called moonstonemountaineer.com, or you could go to my Etsy shop under Moonstone Mountaineer. And I've got a ton of new products in store that either have to do with my brand Moonstone Mountaineer, or they're just fun things like postcards of pictures that I've taken, and just overall cute things or hiking related things, a lot of nature inspired things. If you guys could check that out, that would mean the world to me. You could also hit the shop button down below to check out some of the items that I've got. It would mean a lot to me if you guys looked into that. It's really hard as a small creator to get going. I do have a goal of 1,000 subscribers, so if you guys could subscribe if this information helps you, that would be awesome. I love you guys and have fun. Let's go explore Yosemite. Alright, what else is there to do in Yosemite besides hiking? Well, we've got a lot of can't miss lookout points in Yosemite. The most famous of which would be Tunnel View. Tunnel View is that iconic lookout right after the tunnel on Highway 41 that looks out over El Capitan, Bridal Veil, and all the way to Half Dome. It's probably the best view you'll ever see in your entire life, and that is not an exaggeration. I still remember when I was probably, 8, 9, 10 years old when my parents took me to Yosemite. The first time that we exited that tunnel and saw that view, I cried. I remember talking to my sister about how this was the best thing I'd ever seen. It's accessible and it's a great introduction to what is to come when visiting Yosemite National Park. Nothing compares to the awe that can be felt when you stand there looking out over Yosemite Valley. Another very popular lookout would be Glacier Point. I will say it is only open seasonally because of its high elevation and the snow. It's also one of the best views I've ever seen. Highly recommend. On the way to Glacier Point, there's actually another place to pull over called Washburn Point that also has similar views, and I do believe it's worth the stop. Now, down in the valley, there is a viewpoint called Valley View. This is a wonderful place to see both El Capitan and Bridal Veil, but down on the valley floor, and you can also get the Merced River in the bottom of your picture. It makes an incredible view. Swinging Bridge is another place where you pull over, you park, and all you have to do is walk down to the bridge. It's not really a hike at all, and you get an incredible view of Upper Falls. Going up to Tuolumne Meadows, we've got Olmsted Point. That's going to give you a very unique view of Half Dome from the other side. Now let's move on to the ranger programs. The most popular ranger program is definitely going to be the Valley Floor Tour, otherwise known as the Green Dragon. This is the tour that kind of makes Yosemite seem like Disneyland because you're riding around in an open-air tram while a ranger talks to you about the valley and about the history of Yosemite as well as like geology and just bears, wildlife, etc. It's super fun and you instantly learn a lot about Yosemite when you go on this trip. It does actually take you up to tunnel view. So if you came in through a different entrance and you wanted to see tunnel view, but you're also taking the valley floor tour, don't waste your time going up there yourself because the tour will take you up there. It's 26 miles in total, going around the entire valley floor, and the views from that open air tram are incredible. I will say if there is any weather, they do put you in a bus. It's not the open air tram. So I don't really like the bus tours. It's still really cool to hear what the ranger has to say or the tour guide has to say, but the open air tram is where it's at. So definitely look into the forecast before you book your tour. Another ranger-led program would be the Bear Talks. I personally haven't been on this tour. However, I know that the rangers do walk around, I think about a mile, and basically just talk about the bears in Yosemite. It's a great program for kids. There are also going to be rangers at all of the visitor centers. I know in the Yosemite Valley Visitor Center in front, sometimes they have the information booths that they're standing at. And a lot of times they do have displays like, oh, come look at these wildlife pelts or like the bones and stuff, and it's great for kids. You can also get your junior ranger badge there and get sworn in as a junior ranger. There is a new visitor center that opened 2024 that I'm sure there will be rangers at, as well as maybe ranger programs. Now, speaking of the visitor center, Yosemite Village is the perfect hub for the newcomer to Yosemite to go to because they've got the village store that has a ton of souvenirs. It also has some groceries there if you wanted to pick up lunch. Right next door, there's going to be Degnan's Kitchen, where you could also get lunch or breakfast. They don't serve dinner there. Seasonally, the grill will be open, and that's right behind the village store. And then there's also the Ansel Adams Gallery, which will have very unique gifts there. You know, a lot of art. There's books, there's jewelry, photography supplies if you're a photographer. If you're ever running out of batteries, like say you've got a headlamp, that's the place I always send people to. That's the place that has batteries. And then there's also the museum there as well. And then there's the Yosemite Cemetery, which has a lot of famous figures in there, some pretty cool headstones, and it's sort of like a somber walk to go through. And you can actually see a few giant sequoias. I will say, though, that they're pretty young, so yeah, they're technically giant sequoias, but they're not. It's not like going to the Mariposa Grove. Now, in the summertime, what's everyone going to do? They're going to go swimming. Where are the best swimming holes, Gina? That is going to be at Housekeeping Camp. There's Housekeeping Beach. They've got a place where you can play volleyball. The water is fairly deep on one end of the river there, but it's also shallow on the other. So if you have children, it's a great spot. But if you also want to have like a good swim, it's a good spot. Another popular area would be near Swinging Bridge. That area is also good because it has a bit of a beach and it's close to the Yosemite Valley Lodge. Near Curry Village, you can go over to North Pines Campground, and there's a small area to swim. If you guys are rafting, I will say you can only launch your boat from Sentinel Bridge. Don't launch your boat any further back on the river because it is very dangerous. The National Park Service does not keep that area of the river clear. Debris is there, and the current can kill you. Raft rentals are available at Curry Village, seasonally, of course. It depends on the river level. If they're not renting out rafts, it is not safe for you to bring your own raft and to go on the river. So if you don't see those green and yellow rafts that Curry Village has on the river, if you don't do your research and like look up and make sure the river is safe, then you don't want to bring your own raft and go down the Merced River this summer. Another popular area to go to swim would be Mirror Lake. Again, that was something that was closed for a lot longer than usual into the summer because of the high water levels. People were actually getting swept away in the lake. I will because it basically turned into a river. It wasn't even a lake because the water was so high. But yeah, so Mirror Lake is a wonderful spot. It's actually a historic spot for people to go swimming. Just make sure the water levels are safe. Up in Tuolumne Meadows, we have Tenaya Lake. That's an incredible place to go kayaking, to go swimming, to go rafting. Just an incredible alpine lake that has beautiful views. I will say, though, that lake is completely made of snowmelt. Every time, even mid-June or July I've gone, it is freezing cold, but that's the fun of swimming in the mountains. Now, back to Curry Village down in the valley. Another thing that you can rent during the summer would be the bikes. This is a great option if you're trying to avoid the traffic in Yosemite Valley. It does tend to get pretty congested there. So the bikes are a great way to not only avoid the traffic, but also just like flying through the valley in these unreal views is an incredible experience. There are a ton of bike paths that you can go on, as well as you can actually just go on the road. However, if you do decide to ride your bike on the road, just remember everyone's looking up at the views. They're not paying attention, so just be extra vigilant. In the winter, Curry Village actually has an ice skating rink, which is so fun. You can look up at Glacier Point while you're skating. You can look up at Half Dome while you're skating, which is an incredible experience. You can also go skiing at Badger Pass during the winter. That's up near Glacier Point, and that is also incredible. You can also go cross-country skiing up there. Now, what's one of the biggest draws to Yosemite when it comes to sports? That's going to be the rock climbing. So whether you yourself are interested in rock climbing or you just want to watch rock climbers, Yosemite is the place to be. If you just want to watch rock climbers, the best place to go would be El Capitan Meadow. Bring your binoculars, bring a fold-out chair, put it down, and look up. And you're going to watch people going up the big wall. If you're interested in climbing yourself and you're new to climbing, there's actually a mountaineering school in Yosemite over in Curry Village next to their gift shop. That is a wonderful place to get your foot in the door with climbing, to learn about it. They also have some backcountry tours as well there. That's a great place to go if you're trying to explore Yosemite for the first time. And it's a world-renowned rock climbing school. A seasonal phenomenon that we can't forget would be firefall, which is actually when the light hits Horsetail Falls just right to make it look like it's a fire waterfall. It's incredible. It only happens once a year in February, and if there's any clouds in the sky, it's not going to work. Or if there's just it's really picky, honestly, if it actually shows or not. It is really fun to go out there and try to get the picture and see the phenomenon for yourself. Alright, that pretty much concludes what there is to do in Yosemite National Park. If you found my video helpful, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me as a small creator, and it really helps me bring out more videos that'll help you in the long run in your visits to Yosemite or any of the other national parks across the country. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just wanted to add, because I recorded this a little while ago, they just released the Glacier Point tour on June 15th. So that's also another ranger-led tour that you guys can attend. And then I forgot to mention that there is horseback riding at Wawona. You would want to go to travelyosemite.com for both of those tours if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. This is Moonstone Mountaineer, and have fun in Yosemite, you guys!